Hello everyone, welcome back to the Glow Theory podcast. I'm your host Jane Marie and you are listening to the Glow Theory podcast, where we talk about healing, we talk about growth, we talk about relationships, we talk about just normal shit that most adults go through. So if that is something that you want to stay tuned with, have this playing in your car on your way to work or in the background as you're getting ready, shit like that, pop me on. And we can become internet besties. So today's episode, I actually have my notes down here. Today's episode, we're going to be talking about but becoming so unshakable within yourself. Just becoming unshakable in who you are as a person, your authenticity, what makes you different, what makes you unique, your talents, your quirks, or all the things about you that makes you that you stay firm in. You don't let the crowd change you. I feel like this topic is something that most people want, to be. Most people want to be firm in who they are and truly honor that, and some people don't. They wait until later in life until they're like, okay, I don't care anymore. It's like, no, we're gonna do it today. We're gonna do it while we're still young. Okay, I mean, there's nothing wrong with waiting until you're older to finally step into who you are, because it is sometimes scary, especially when when it comes to things like sexuality. And this one comes to mind because I have a lot of gay besties, literally are my favorite. But, I always ask them about like their coming out story, and it's always so hard. And, one of them in particular was a friend from work, and they're a little bit older than me. I don't really care. Not a little bit older than me. One of my coworkers from a previous job that I worked at, he's gay, and I asked him about like his coming out story. Mind you, he is 60 something, 69, 68, but just so full of life, like just so happy, so bubbly. Anyways, I asked him about his coming out story, and he waited until he was 30. He said somewhere in his mid-30s. Until he was finally comfortable coming out. That makes me kind of like, things like that just makes me so sad. It's like, why are you waiting so long to just be who you are? And the why portion, obviously being judged, the perception from friends, from family, from the world around you of, they're not going to accept me for being me, they're gonna judge me, they're gonna think certain things. And it's just not fair to any of us to shy away from our unique identities and qualities of who we are. And who cares what people think? Because as long as you are good on the inside, that is all that matters. And I know it is so much easier said than done. I get it, because literally I was like that weirdo, outcasted like weirdo in school, and very insecure and very unstable, obviously because of my childhood and my upbringing. But it's made me like kind of almost like a shy like weirdo, I don't know. I just wasn't comfortable being myself, or doing things for me and being authentic, because of the fear of being judged and the fear of being perceived. And my foster parents did not help that at all as I was growing up. And the prime years, young, older child going into teenage years, those are the years, the prime years of molding. When you're like that 11, 12-year-old up until you're 16, but you're molding, you're kind of like becoming who you are. And obviously you want your parents, families, whatever, guardians to support you in who you are, and like support your authenticity, and let you be you without you being judged. No, did not get that. So obviously it made me like a very like in my shell kind of person and just very awkward and weird and scared all the time because I felt like I was being judged 24/7. And not until stepping away from those said environments and doing lots and lots and lots and lots of therapy, I'm finally in a place where I just am myself. Like, I don't care, and it's becoming more firm and firm each day. I just don't care. Obviously, some days are not perfect, and I'm like, get a little nervous around people. Yeah, and like get a little awkward or whatever it is, and that's okay. Like, I'm very much naturally a very introverted person, but well, I would say I'm kind of both. Like, I do like, I like being outgoing and such like that. Obviously, like, I do enjoy being around people and talking and being outgoing on some days, particular days. There are certain days where I can do that, and then I have to go back inside and recharge, not be around people or talk to anyone. I can be a little bit of both, but for me, like, when I have those moments of I'm a little awkward today, I just tell myself, like, I always remind myself I'm doing my best. I don't shoot myself in the foot about how I should be open and unapologetically myself and this, that, and the third. Like, I obviously protect and honor those days where I'm just like, I'm a little awkward today, so we're not gonna do the most. But when I am feeling very bubbly and happy and I'm very much feeling confident within myself, within, what I'm wearing. My vibe is great, literally saying hi to everyone, have a blessed day. We're all doing, cracking jokes with old people because they like that. Yeah, it's just vibes, like just being myself. And like, instead of thinking sometimes, like, I will just do it. Because usually, like, beforehand, like, if I saw a really pretty girl walking by, in my mind I'll be like, I should say she's pretty, and then I don't, and then they walk by and it's over. But now it's just like, oh my god, girl, you're gorgeous. We could be like 5 feet apart. I will scream that shit. I will yell that shit. You know what? Like, yes, you look amazing today, and just being myself. Like, I don't care if I'm perceived as weird or quirky or whatever the fuck. I just don't care. I don't care. I spent a very long time being judged and perceived and bullied by people. There's no room for that. Like, life is just wasting at this point if I'm allowing other people to dictate how I get to be and how I get to act in my life. Okay, so that was obviously a very, very long intro, but that's how deep it is. That's how important it is, and that's how important this message and this podcast is for me, because that literally, like, becoming unshakable, like, within myself, definitely one of the biggest lessons that I've had to learn in this lifetime. I just said one of them. Okay, so we're gonna get into segment number 1. The problem, why we feel shaken in, trying to be unshakable. So obviously I talked about it a little, like that fear factor, family, friends, how the world just wants to perceive people, and how, on social media, people really just follow the trends and the lines and what people say and it's created like a very comfortable space for people to bully people and literally like make fun of people over little things that don't even matter. And it makes it, especially in this very tech kind of, generation and era of time, most people are very much, chronically online. And when little kids too, and they're seeing these things that people are commenting on, say for example, a girl posts something may be off on the photo. I don't know, because I don't care, but something's off. Someone in the comments points it out, and everyone starts judging and perceiving because apparently people have to look perfect. Shit like that makes it very hard for people to just want to be themselves and post freely or go out and be free, be who they are, when we have this kind of world that's so quick to judge people, so quick to shame people, so quick to put people down. To me, I don't know what the fuck I signed up for. That ain't me. Like, I don't get that. It's weird. It's weird out there. It's probably why I stay inside, because I hate people for this specific reason. And just being so miserable. You know, people who do that are not okay within themselves. They're not certain of who they are, but I think a lot of people forget that and just kind of view them as this opinion that is so superior. And it's like, I have to, you know, like, people are saying this about me, so therefore I have to believe this. It's like, no. It's like the world, social media, families, friends, situations really like conditions people, like especially society conditions people to seek approval from other people to be free. And you know, it's weird, like, I love the word weird, but I hate seeing like people who are just freely themselves and it's like condemned as weird, or they're a weirdo, because society just wants to be top-notch, mature. We don't smile, we don't laugh, we don't express ourselves. Like, to me, that's weird. That's weird. Staying, you know, all uniform, staying all the same and shit. No one can be themselves. No one can act up a little bit because it's gonna be condemned as fucking weird. Like, I hate that shit. And especially, like, for example, I love kids. Kids are so cute. You know, little kids, when they're like, for example, little kids, when they are being who they are, they're exploring who they are, their identities, and, you know, just being them. They're figuring out this world. They're figuring out how to operate in their little bodies. And I've seen like a number of examples where, you know, a kid is, you know, just being themselves, and the mom is quick to shame them and tell them to shut up and sit down and be quiet and whatever the fuck. When literally the situation doesn't even call for that. They don't need to be sitting down. They don't need to be all quiet and shit. Like, you know, I hate stuff like that. That's just one, like, another example of, like, you know, conditioning. So it's like, the moment, you know, people start disapproving of you, especially like coming from a parent, we start to question like everything, especially at a young age too, when you don't even know who the fuck you are and you are trying to figure out this world, figure out your brain. And it's like the moment someone, and you know, being a teenager, those are the peak years of insecurity and judgment and feeling like the whole world is against you. And that's when, you know, people start to mold themselves into people that they're not. You know, the shape shifting and adjusting to different crowds, you know, based on the level of approval or disapproval. You do what you can to get the right amount of validation from each particular section of people that you hang out with and shape shift around. But obviously deep down, that's gonna cost you your sense of self and who you are. And I understand that completely, being kind of like that shape shifter energy, you know, trying to fit in and try and get validation where I can, because, you know, first, I grew up hella ugly. And then, you know, on top of the trauma and all the crazy shit that went on in my life, my mental was fucked. And being around very narcissistic, very manipulative, gaslighting, crazy foster parents as well, fucked up who I was. Like, my validation had to come from being a certain specific type of person in order to get any type of praise. And learning how to do that, and then amongst my peers, some of my peers were not so nice, you know, got a little bullied or whatever. So, you know, trying to shapeshift and become a different person for people to like me, for people to enjoy me, because that's all this little girl was wanting. She just wanted some love, and then she had to do the most in order to get that love back. But doing that literally costed me my sense of self. I didn't know who I was, especially freshly, you know, going into college, like my first year of college. I had no idea who the fuck I was, and I moved out and everything, packed all my shit in my car and was heading to my dorm, and then got in a relationship. And like, bro, like that era of times truly fucked me up. Like, I was just so lost. And I don't know, but I always reflect back to that specific time point because a year after, well, that was the year things started shaking around for me. So that point in time is like, I don't know, I hold it tender to my heart because that's when I was and everything else started like shifting around me, and that was when the healing started. But yeah, I just lost myself. I was not who I was. I was not happy. I was not whole. I just didn't know who I was. And you know, moments like that, when I look back, it's just like, she was just, you know, she was just a girl who, you know, didn't have the proper love and care and support that she should have had growing up. And now she's this big 18 and has to figure all of this out, and she doesn't have her insides figured out, you know. And it's like, it was such a crazy experience for real. And so when you have your identity like intertwined and connected to how people perceive you and view you, you will always be shaken. You will always be, you know, in doubt and in fear, and, you know, this insecurity around people. It's uncomfortable. Like, unless you want to do that, it's beyond uncomfortable. It's the worst experience to be. It's the worst kind of energy, frequency, vibe to be in. It's awful because you're literally robbing yourself of who you are, and, you know, robbing the experiences of other people, newer people that you might meet. But you're already shape-shifting when you try and meet new people because you want them to try and like you. You want that validation instantly. And it's like, you're robbing yourself, you're robbing, you know, connections as well. But yeah, being in that energy, losing your sense of self and your worth and who you are and your authenticity just truly is not the vibe. We don't want that for ourselves. And growing up, because you will always have that question of, are you good enough? And that just starts with you. That starts with you claiming that you love yourself, you honor yourself, that you will always be yourself around whoever the fuck the crowd is, and it don't matter to you. Okay, we're gonna move to segment number 2, which is the shift. It is reclaiming your power. So being unshakable, it starts with realizing that your worth does not come from other people and their opinions and how they respond to you as a person. Never did, never has, never was about that. Okay, so we're gonna use this analogy. Like, think of yourself as a tree. You know, life will bring, you know, those storms, it'll bring the hailstorms, it'll bring the tsunamis, it'll bring the mountains, the trials, the all of the above things that break down trees. If you can think of them, that's what it is. And obviously I'm referring to like heartache or rejection or pain or trials and tribulations and this, that, and the third. But if you are so rooted, if you are rooted deep enough, that shit will not break you. That shit will not break you. It will not break you. It was a little corny analogy, but I hope that kind of explains what I'm referring to. Sure, it might bend the leaves or, you know, rip off a few branches or whatever the fuck, but the roots are so deep, you're good. You're still good. So it's like, when you are so deeply rooted in who you are as a person, those hateful, you know, comments or people saying mean things about you or your personality, or, you know, trying to condemn you as a weirdo, or you're just like strange or whatever the fuck. Because I've been called that multiple times growing up, and I always thought like, you know, I have to change this about me because people don't like weird, or that's what society doesn't like. And learning how to appreciate my weirdness, because it's like, life is so boring when you're not like a little weird, like, you know, it adds a little spice, you know what I'm saying? And it took me a while to not give a fuck. Oh, you're weird. Yeah, girl, I am. I'm not from this place. I am weird. What do you mean? Like, thank you. You know, it took a while to get rooted in who I was, truly. So how do you grow those roots? We're gonna talk about that. Let me explain that real quick here. So, number one, self-validation over external validation. So obviously by that, we obviously know what I'm referring to, that self-validation of loving yourself, honoring yourself, respecting yourself, choosing your authenticity over anybody's opinions. Who cares what they say? And, you know, you stop wanting that outside external validation, because it's like, I don't want to be no boring basic bitch. I don't want to be you. That I don't want that. I like me. I like my personality. I love who I am and what I've got going on and my interests and things like that. And it's like, you get to a point where it's like external, when you constantly reassure yourself that you love yourself, you honor yourself, and you honor your authenticity and your journey and who you are as a person, the outside noise and the external validation, it drops. Obviously, you know, it depends on, obviously it's different for everyone. Everyone's journey is different. But for me, I had to do that healing. I had to do that work. I had to cleanse the palate first, okay? And then work on that self-love. And that self-love started to grow into self-validation and approving of who I am and my worth and, you know, my life and my authenticity, and not giving a flying fuck about what other people thought about me, you know? And like, you know, everyone's gonna have perceptions, and, you know, everyone's gonna have opinions of what they want to think of all people. That is okay. It's okay, because now it's like, I if it's negative, I don't care. Like, what does it do for me? Like, it doesn't do anything for me, so I don't care. It's in the past now. It's so quick in the past. It didn't even go in one ear. It just kind of bounced off my beautiful protected energy and straight back to that person, because I don't give a flying fuck. You can stop asking yourself questions like, do they like me? You know, especially around new people or new connections that you're trying to create. Like, I wonder if they like me. I wonder if I'm doing this right. Like, I wonder this, I wonder that. I used to have thoughts like that. Oh my God. Literally the worst. And like being around certain people, like trying to be a certain way so that, you know, they would like me or get that external validation. Like, fuck no. Yeah, cut those thoughts out immediately. No. We don't care if they, you know what, if they don't like you, they'll make it apparent. They'll show you signs. Read the signs and decide whether or not they like you or want to keep fucking with you or want to keep vibing with you. Okay, read the room. You don't got to adjust who you are to try and make them like you. Okay, you come fully dressed in your authentic, not dressed, but I don't know where I was going with that. Somewhere along the lines of like fully nude, but like covered in your authenticity. Let me just stop right there. I don't think it's going where I thought it would go. Okay, so number 2, authenticity over likability. Okay, so what I'm referring to is when you know, continue to just be authentic in who you are and completely unshakable in who you are. You stop chasing that validation or seeking, you know, that craving of, do they like me? Do they want me? Do they, you know, do they like how I dress? Do they like my personality? You know, those stupid thoughts that we shouldn't have. We should not have that. Because being liked by everyone, I'm not gonna lie, it's like, you're just not fully yourself. Because not everyone is gonna like you, and that is okay. Maybe I shouldn't say that. Some people are just really, they just have that energy, that aura that everyone loves. But for me, my opinion, if everybody likes you, like, you might not be, you know, you might not be your full self. Because, hey, you're gonna ruffle some feathers. You're not gonna click with everybody, and that is okay. Not everyone has that personality where it's like, wow, like, you know, everyone just vibes with them, everyone loves them. Like, for me, for sure, I don't know, obviously the way I am, the existing triggered people, and that I've learned to be okay with that. I've learned to be okay with that. Obviously at first it was literally awful, because me existing literally made my mom just want to like, yeah. So I've just had to learn, like, as long as I'm just being me and who I am might ruffle a few feathers, or me just simply existing. I don't know if it's the energy, the presence, it's my aura. Some people just don't fuck with it. I don't even have to say shit. Some people don't fuck with it, or maybe it's my skin tone. It is what it is. I just don't really care. I feel like when you are truly yourself, just truly authentic, you don't care about the outside perception of people. You don't care if they don't vibe with you or not, because truly, I do believe this, the right people align with you. That started happening with me when I was just, you know, starting to be fully who I was, fully who I am as a person. And just, you know, obviously that came with a period of isolation and working on myself, and, you know, learning how to love myself properly and learning how to be unshakable. And once I started doing that, like, all these beautiful connections with these beautiful human beings fall into my life, and it's like they're like good healthy people. It's not the toxic shit that I was so fucking used to. Like, it's actual genuinely good soulful people, like, and I love that. And that's all because I just was being me, being myself, and I didn't care if I was being liked by nobody. I was not fiending for, you know, desperate connections because I didn't want to feel lonely. Like, I was enjoying my time being alone, not reaching out to no one, that solitude. And it was for a decent amount of time, and I appreciated that. And obviously I would fall back into wanting to reach out to those old toxic friends, but it's like, is this beneficial for me or not? Are they going where I want to go in life or not, right? And so when I let go of those fears of being alone and not having friends to talk to and stuff like that, because I miss that, just accepting who I was, being me, accepting my lonely isolation period for that said time, and unexpectedly, like, people just pop into your life too unexpectedly, right? When you are just vibing, chilling, you know, you don't even expect it, and they just, boom, they're there. Boom, here's another one. Boom, here's the third, you know, and it's just like, love it. Okay, we're gonna move on to the third one of this segment, which is softness as a strength. I talk about softness a lot because it is important. Don't mind me. I don't know. Sometimes when I talk, I don't know if there's something wrong with my mouth, but like I accents switch out. It comes and goes. I don't know what's going on. Anyways, so okay, so we're gonna move like I said, to that. So people confuse being unshakable with being cold or hard, but that's not what it is. So like, when you are, you know, completely rooted in who you are, some people, you know, society, who are so tainted by judging people and that group of people, when you are so rooted in who you are, they perceive that as cold or arrogant or cocky or whatever the fuck, because they're like, why are you not accepting my negativity? You know, it's like, and they get offended, or it triggers something within them. It triggers something in you know, in their little insecurities that they've got going on. And so they'll project, or, you know, view it as cold or arrogant or mean, when that's just not the case at all. Being unshakable, it means, you know, obviously you love yourself, you honor yourself, but especially for women, it still means that you're soft and, you know, you're still girly, you're still loving, you're still kind. Obviously, all of that comes without being knocked off balance, right? You can be kind and bubbly and loving and naive, or you can be, you know, kind, bubbly, rooted in who you are, loving, and you will not get knocked off your balance. You will not take no BS from nobody. You don't take that negativity. You don't let people walk all over you like a doorstep. And you stay firm with those said boundaries. You stand tall because you are so rooted within yourself. Little things that I did to anchor in that energy, I did a lot of mirror work, like looking into the mirror and telling myself affirmations like I am rooted within myself. I love myself, I honor myself, I respect myself. My authenticity is, I respect and appreciate my authenticity. Sorry, I had to think about what the fuck else I said. But things like that, like I would just chant them in my brain all the time, every time, literally like until it was very much stuck, like glue. Another thing is having those boundaries. Boundaries is very important when you are trying to be so unshakable in who you are and completely rooted. Having boundaries, it's not a wall, it is an added layer of protection to make sure people are not stepping all over you, siphoning your energy, trying to take from you, trying to, you know, disrespect you in certain ways, right? It's like making sure that that does not happen. You can still be kind, bubbly, loving, but you can still have those boundaries. And I did a lot of journaling too. It's like, where did I abandon myself today, yesterday, months ago, I don't know, weeks ago, whatever the fuck it was that I have to figure out. Healing is a constant journey, y'all, by the way. And then I also asked myself, like, where did I stand in my truth? Especially if I felt like today was a little off, feeling a little awkward. And sometimes when I'm feeling awkward, I'm agitated by people, so I can sometimes be a little mean. And so, you know, I come back home, you know, when I just realized I just need to recharge. I need to reset. I shouldn't have been outside. I shouldn't have been around people, but I was trying so hard to be around people and be happy because I thought that's how I should fix whatever my issue was. And I stopped doing that, you know, and I started journaling, like, where did I abandon myself today? And how did I show up today? Is that a reflection of how I want to show up as a person, or is it not? So I don't want to be mean. I mean, I can be mean when it's necessary, but just on the daily, like, I'm pretty much a very happy person, almost like a child. I'm very goofy, very, very happy, and I know society condemns that as weird. Like, it's so weird when you are just like goofy, happy, bubbly. It's considered weird, especially if you're an adult, you know. And I've been trying to learn learning that more, that I don't have to be this mature, you know, non-talkative kind of. It's so boring, especially in this town, this city that I live in. Like, literally everyone is a copy paste of each other with that same attitude, that same energy, and it's like, I don't want to be that. The fuck. But anyways, that's where you start reclaiming your power. We're gonna move on to segment number 3, which is embodying the unshakable self. So embodying and, you know, just being that unshakable self, I'll give examples. Saying no without feeling guilty. Walking away from what doesn't serve you. I love doing that. I love doing that. It is my favorite thing in this whole planet. It served me well because now it's like, oh my god, this was funny. So, like, it's not really funny, but like, it's funny to me. So I went to check out this new family doctor that I need because I have had, you know, I don't want to say health issues because it's resolved. It's getting resolved, okay? So anyways, I had to find like a new family doctor that was not like hours away and find it closer to my city. And I went to this new family doctoral clinic, whatever the fuck. And you know what? I shouldn't even say that. But anyways, it was finally my turn after like an hour. The dude walks in, very rushed, panicked, you know, frantic, like he just, I'm just sitting there like kind of watching him do his thing, tippy-tappity on the computer, you know, verifying my name and whatever the fuck. And I was already very disturbed with his energy already. It was very much a lot. It was a lot. And he was just, and obviously, like, I don't enjoy when people perceive you as dumb or incompetent, or you don't have enough intelligence to understand what you're doing or saying. And I was kind of clocking that from him when asking a few questions, and just trying to really like almost like mansplain, but like was very condescending as well, and just expecting me to be this dumb, incompetent person. And it's okay, I'm intellectually inept or something, like I'm dumb, like girl, bye. And so being in that office, he's giving me this condescending energy, and I like to just sit there, take it all in, it's fine. And then he starts getting rude and starts getting really disrespectful, and is almost like, I don't know what the fuck, bro. Like I just trigger people. He was just getting all worked up because I was kind of like questioning his questions because they weren't making sense. And he thought I was stupid and didn't understand what he was saying because he's trying to use these big fancy words. Haha, I actually read books. And so I was just like thrown back. I was like, you know what, this ain't working. I grabbed my shit and I was marching out of there. But then quick, he was like, no, okay, actually I can help you with this. Like, brother, shit like that. And I didn't turn back because you already gave me the energy 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, however many times that you were giving me this weird energy. No, I'm not gonna sit for the rest of, I don't want any answers from, I don't want your help. I don't want you as my family doctor. Mind you, this is my first impression of you, and it's terrible. It is awful. I'm not receiving you well as a person. And it's like, why would I trust you with my health? Absolutely not. So walking away, chef's kiss, walk away from any situation that is not serving you, anything that is giving you weird, energy, vibes. Watch out for people who are condescending or trying to disrespect you. Protect your boundaries. Make sure that your boundaries are not being walked all over, because you deserve respect as a person, okay? In all ways, in all aspects. The next bullet point, speaking your truth even if your voice shakes. This is a good one because I definitely grew up a little shy too, so I was very like nervous talking in front of large groups of people because fear of perception and being judged and stuff like that. But stand tall in who you are. Like, it's just crazy to me that for so many years I let that hold me back with my ideas or what I had or wanted to share with people because I was scared. And obviously I've had to force myself with years and years and years, and obviously like within school, like presentations and being in front of people and doing that constantly, because I'm like, I'm doing this shit and I'm standing on business, I'm speaking my mind, like that right there really helped me with just speaking my truth, even if my voice shakes a little bit because I'm a little nervous or there's pumped up adrenaline and it's like the voice is shaking. But that goes for connections and relationships too. If you are not being treated right and you want to speak up, you want to speak your truth, you want to stand up, do it. Even if that voice shakes a little bit, it don't matter. You're speaking your truth. You're standing in who you are and what you believe in at your core for that time being. So do it. And the next one, obviously this one is important. It's coming back to yourself quickly when you do wobble, when you are a little unshakable those days. Honoring those days, quickly jumping back into standing firm and being rooted. That's why grounding is so very important. So obviously we all have moments in time where we are unshakable, and through this journey of trying to be so completely unshakable, you will have moments where it's like, oh, I dropped the ball a little bit, I'm feeling a little tense, I'm feeling the old energy come back. But it's like learning how to bounce back from that quickly, because not all days are going to be perfect where you're so completely confident, you are just unshakable. Not all days are going to be like that. Some days are better than other days, and that's okay. It's part of this human experience. It's just about being able to bounce back and honor that still. It's like the faster you do it, the longer it holds, and the quicker it is for you to just bounce back to that too. Alrighty, so that is pretty much it for this podcast episode. I feel like there are a few more things that I want to hit on, but I was trying to not yap the whole entire time. There's a lot of talking, so maybe I'll make like sequel or, you know, like another one. I don't know. We'll see where this takes us. Honestly, there's so much shit going on in the background that it's like I gotta find the time to do this. But I just want to say thank you for watching. I hope this was enjoyable. I hope you could relate to this in any type of way. I feel like most people can, you know. Not everyone is born confident, and not everyone grew up in environments where they curated and helped support who you are as a person. And, you know, we get judged. A lot of us get judged and conditioned at a very young age, and, you know, molds us into someone that we are not, molds us into what we want society to view us as, to be likable, to be digestible, to be, you know, whatever the fuck. And sometimes it takes people a long time to really break out of those conditions and just be who they are. And some people just stay stuck in that and they don't know how to break out of that. And we leave those people alone, because some of those people, they don't want the help. They like where they're at. They don't think there's anything wrong with that. So we leave that. But for those who want that change and want to just be who they are and appreciate their, you know, their authenticity and their unique personality without no shame, no guilt, no whatever, and be free. Cause shit, it gets exhausting being someone that you're not, right? So to close this up, I hope you like the video, and if you are new, subscribe if you wanna, you know, tag team along and see and hear more episodes about healing, growth, boundaries, you know, this kind of niche, this kind of vibe. Yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next episode, whenever that will be. Okay, bye.